All right, everybody. The game has just finished. Sunderland 1, AFC Wimbledon 1. We've done a live stream on SAFC Fan TV. We're doing a quick review of the game. I know, obviously, it's disappointing. We haven't won the game. I was being a bit harsh by saying, not getting the 3 points when we're obviously a couple of hours before the game. The club announced that there was a massive. There was 8 players who had to be self-isolating for the coronavirus. So, some key members were left out and had to be left out. Deano, it's a disappointing result tonight. For me, I thought Wimbledon in the second half as well, they had the better chances. I thought it was again a game where we kept the ball, but there's just no end product, no creativity. And for me, January can't come quick enough if Lee Johnson gets backed in the window. What's your assessment of the game tonight, mate?
You know what? You're saying you're disappointed. I'm not disappointed. I'm really not, because at the end of the day, them could have won that game. We forget they hit the bar. They had the chances. Lee Burge made more saves than their keeper, in my opinion. So I don't know how you can be disappointed. I mean, we've had 8 changes made to the squad. Deano Sanderson come in. I'm trying to think of the other players who came in, to be fair. O'Brien came in, obviously, who hasn't had the best of starts. Dobson, Embleton's a good player. Dobson's had a really bad start of the season. Mm-hmm. I mean, it wasn't the ideal, starting 11 to go up against. I mean, you've got Will Grigg up front when Charlie Wegg's banging them in. I mean, Grigg's low on confidence. I think Grigg's done. I mean, that game just proved to me. He's been done for a long time, but I think that game just showed that he needs to be gone in January. We need someone else. He's not the answer. He never will be the answer as long as he's here. Other than that, don't forget, we came from 1-0 down. Great finish by Bailey Wright. We could have lost that game today. Easy. The lads showed a big comeback, 100%. So, overall, we played all right in moments. First half, I thought we dominated the first half. It was just that stupid mistake. But second half, Wimbledon did come out with. They really did. They had the chances. They hit the bar. They had the chances. So we can't really say, Wimbledon just sat back and we couldn't break them down. When it was 1-1, Wimbledon could have easily just sat back, but they didn't, because everyone knows we are there for the taking at the minute for any team. So 1-1. Don't forget, if we didn't play this game, there was a chance we wouldn't have got any points. So to play with a very weakened team, it's not an excuse, but if we got beat, people would have been saying, it was a weak team, it wasn't the strongest team. It's still a point. Like Conrad said, we're 6 points behind. Who's Lincoln?
Hull in top.
All we need to do is just try and get on a run. That's the main thing. We're still technically 2 unbeaten, aren't we, in the league? So we're on an unbeaten run. So let's just move on to the next game, and hopefully the players who are isolating can come back in, hopefully.
Yeah, maybe I'm just, I'm just a bit angry because maybe I'm just a bit angry because we haven't won the game, and now that you see that, you sort of makes sense, and I've really fully said in the live chat as well. It's just disappointing not to get the 3 points. I thought it's another missed opportunity because the teams are both dropping points again. We could have capitalised on that, but we haven't. Conrad, why do you think the game went wrong today for Sunday? Do you think them 8 changes affected the squad? Do you think it just unbalanced the whole of the squad? And do you think Johnson had to make some quick decisions, at the last minute, and that was what affected the team going into the game?
Yeah, I think, because I know we were talking about it towards the end of the stream on there, and then, I think I'm sort of settling on the side of, I mean, don't get me wrong, not all 8 changes are in there, because Danny Graham doesn't even play, really, on there. He sits on the bench, so it's not exactly like we missed it. But when you consider, as I was saying to you before, when you take the Lincoln game and compare it, the starting team of the Lincoln game, and compare it to this game, we lost every person who was involved in one of the goals, whether it be the scorer or the one who knocked it down or the one who laid it off to someone on there. We lost both our creative players in terms of Maguire. I know he's not had the best season, but Maguire, he still scored one the other night in one competition and then set up the fourth against Lincoln. We lost McGeady, who was a bit creativity anyway, coming back from not playing for you. He set up Diamond's goal there. Charlie Wyke, who put in two, like they were both. I mean, they were still good finishes. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like he had to round anyone for a worldie or anything, but he was just in the right place to put it in. When you consider we lost the goal scorer and the people who were creating it around him, as well as then when you look further back and go, Max Power and Scowen, they all have their critics, Shaun, for Power, but they're our first team midfielders, and they were fitting in with Maguire, they were fitting in with Wyke, they were fitting in with McGee. So we've lost them as well. Yeah. So it did make a difference. And I'm disappointed we didn't win. Of course, I wanted to win and beat Wimbledon, especially because Hull and Lincoln both lost again. But it's like Deano said as well, we're ninth, which of course is awful. But when you also sit there and go, hang on, we're still halfway through December and we're only 6 points off top and we have a game in hand on a couple of them and probably have to play them all again, especially Hull. I think they're 3 games time on Boxing Day. So that game's massive now. Like, imagine if we both win our next 2 games and then we have to play them to catch up. We're 3 points behind you and we've still got you again later on in the season. It's that thing of, if we were in March now and I was sitting there going 6 points off top, oh man, it's close, squeaky bum time. But sitting there now looking at it realistically going, I'm disappointed not to win just because of where the opposition is, not who they are, because like Deano said, they were the better team in the second half and probably overall, but we're not out of it by a long way. And I think it just probably, like we were saying before, it just disrupted the plans beforehand and we lost the best parts of our team from Lincoln into this game.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I mean, when the game was over, you sort of think, you're annoyed.
2 points dropped, definitely.
Pissed off. I mean, I thought we were the better side in the first half, even though we had all that possession, but we didn't create much. Stupid, silly. We need to cut out these little errors as well. If we want to finish in the top 2 or even the playoffs, we're going to have to cut these little errors out. But Deano, obviously, the players were self-isolate. Matthews, Graham, Maguire, Scowen, Wyke, McGeady, Power and Flanagan. I mean, Conrad touched on it. I mean, Wyke's been our main goal scorer. McGeady's come in and he's looked creative and he's looked really good. Flanagan's been good at the back. Scowen was great last game. Chris Maguire as well. I mean, when I think about it, there's a lot of players there, Deano. What you'd say, well, they effectively were our match winners on Saturday, and then obviously they've been just took out the equation today. It's obviously unbalanced the whole of the squad.
There are match winners on Tuesday as well for Scowen and Maguire. Sorry to just throw that in there as well.
Oh,
I mean, like, I can't believe I'm saying this, but we did miss Wyke. I mean, Wyke has been one of our better players this season, and I'm shocked to say that because I give him a lot of stick. Right. And Michael Bowers pulls us up on it loads of times because I even said he wouldn't get 10 goals. I want him to get more than 10 goals. I just, at the time, I didn't think he would. And now he's got 7, I think.
He's got 7 in our competition, John. Yeah.
He's looking good. He's our main striker. I know that's really bad to say for a player who didn't, for the first 2 years, done nothing. And now he's my main striker. But that's the problem when Wyke isn't playing. Who scores the goals? That's the problem. I've always said we've got one of the worst strike forces in the league, and I still believe that. I really do. I mean, O'Brien played okay today in spurts, but he still hasn't scored a goal. And we can say what we want about Greg. He's had a few nice touches. He hasn't scored a goal. That's what you want a striker to do. Score. I don't care how many touches he has. Score a fucking goal. Yeah, he got one shot on target, but he had one where he ran across the front post and tried to flick. I mean, why are you trying fancy stuff for? You can't even do the simple stuff. Never mind the fancy shit. So what are you doing? So that's a concern. If Wyke's not there, that's a massive concern. Who's going to score the goals? And like you say, McGeady's come in. He's looked good. He's still not 100% sharp. You can tell. Maguire, obviously, I hope it's like with him scoring a goal and assisting one. Hopefully, that gets his form back. But when you take them 3 out the team, it's a big loss in quality. It really is, because them are the people who have been turning up. And like you say with Power and Scowen's looked all right the last 2 games. He's been all over the place, being very positive, running at players. And Power's he's been all right, even though I criticise him a lot.
Yeah.
What we lost a big chunk of our team tonight. And yeah, I do agree the players on that pitch should win that game. But we didn't because Wimbledon turned up. Wimbledon tried to do a snatch and grab. And then in the second half, they realised, these are actually there for the taking. Let's go and take it to them. And they did. And them had better chances in the second half. So let's just
They'll be disappointed with a point. They'll be disappointed with a point at the end of that game.
And if anything, we should be lucky we got a fucking point. We came back from 1-0 down.
It took a volley. It took a left-footed worldie from our centre-back to get us back in it.
And you could debate if that was a foul as well, really. So when you look at it, a 1-1 doesn't look as bad when you look at all the what we watched.
As well, I was going to mention, the next game, Shrewsbury on Saturday. With this in mind, with the players out, I think I honestly can't say that game going ahead now, Conrad. I mean, you see 8 players out, but you look at them and it's 5 of them. What you would be in the starting 11, and I mean, you see the game today, and you look at that game coming up. Would it be in the best interests of the club? They can obviously within the rights now because they've got plenty of days notice. Like Bristol Rovers, I don't know if you heard, Bristol Rovers cancelled their next 2 games because they've got the same issue in their squad. So do you think that game now will get cancelled on Saturday, the Shrewsbury game?
It depends now, doesn't it? Because they'll have to test them first. Because imagine if you took them off and then went, hang on, no one's got any symptoms, no one's got it, we're fine. We've then got a 2-week break over all the other teams, and then the EFL will probably absolutely do us for doing that. So at this point, I think it'll be more likely they'll be testing those 8 players, and the ones who are fine will come back, and the ones who aren't, they'll sort of stay out. But if it was up to me, and we still had, say if we get half of them back and half out, let's ask for it anyway, because a fixture pile up, like we were saying, that's not an excuse for the season going, not getting where you want in the season on here. But when you're starting to lose players because of I was going to say an illness, but I know it's more than that, but an illness, do you know what I mean, on there, that you can avoid. Let's at least try later on with our first team, just playing multiple games in a row instead of going, well, we've kind of got our other players who some of them are in the first team, but the others aren't, and maybe get some points.
Yeah, Conrad, right? You say with a 2-week, we should take the 2-week break. Is that not a bad idea? Because players will lose sharpness, match fitness. I mean, does it benefit you taking 2 weeks off when other teams are playing?
Is it like a 10-day thing they have to do now? I mean, I know they've changed
7 to 10 days. Yeah,
7 to 10. I know they change the rules every day with this COVID thing on there, but I'm sure. I don't think at the minute, because of how many games we've played, and I think it's pretty much been 2 a week for a good few months now. 2 weeks
now, yeah.
I can't imagine them having 7 days off to 10 days off would be the worst, because they're going to go back in and start them again. I think it's probably maybe even if they did like an internal friendly, do you know what I mean, or something just within the squad. I'd almost be willing to do it because they've always talked about having a Christmas break. Do you know what I mean? Like
that won't happen this year.
That won't happen this year
because the Euros. But what I was going to say there, let's not act like this is just it's happening to us, or we're playing too many games. Everyone's in the same boat. Everyone's in the same boat.
So let's take this advantage while we can.
Other teams are getting coronavirus and got to change things. It's not just us. This is going to be the weirdest season in probably history. Obviously, we had no pre-season, so you've got to think this is a really bad season because the situation, everything changed.
Yeah.
Now you get to make 5 subs and all that stuff, so everything's changed this season. This season's like I don't know, just it's
the write-off, really. You've just got to try and get out of it while you can.
Yeah, you've got to try and make the most of it and try and get up there, because this is going to be the stupidest unorganised season in history.
Yeah, maybe she's right. Maybe I overreacted a little bit earlier on.
I'm disappointed we lost 2, Shaun, and I think we should, like that team that we put out on paper. That team that we put out should be good enough to win the game. That's where my disappointment lies, and the fact they didn't. But
obviously, I've just digested everything what he's just said, to be fair, and I think what he fully said as well. I think he's probably right. I mean, if we'd happened a few hours earlier or even a day earlier, maybe they could have cancelled the game, and that might have been
playing. So
yeah, it might have been a better scenario. Anyway,
but after watching that today, I want the games to be called off because we will lag further behind.
Yeah,
and if anything, we should try and get them games called off.
Yeah,
because if we play the same team against the other two teams we're going to play, we will probably lag behind, and we can't really afford it now. So maybe take the 2 weeks off, not play, get everyone back, and then go at it. Even if it's a fixture congestion, just play. Go on, Conrad.
Because like you're saying, even with today, I know we only got a point, but we still gained a point on all of the ones above us who lost. Like the start of today, I think we were like 8, where we were like 7 points off top maybe, and 5 off Lincoln. We're still a point closer to them because they've both lost. So we somehow got away with a little positive out of the game. So let's now not make it worse, like Deano was trying to say there, and lose to Blackpool or something like that because of the team. Let's just go, right, we can't play. We'll wait for Hull on Boxing Day.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think when you digest it and you think about it, maybe it was a draw wasn't a bad result. And
in the whole scheme, probably not.
In the whole scheme, I think. Yeah.
And let's not forget, teams around will still drop points later on in the season. That's just not like because it's tonight. Hull got beat. It's going to happen again. Hull might get beat next week and then draw the week after. It just depends because, like you say, this league, anyone can beat anybody, and it's proved that. We got beat off Wigan, for God's sake, so it can happen. Shocks happen all the time in the league. So let's not just think just because they've dropped points now, they're not going to do it later on. They will. We're going to drop points. Everyone's going to drop points. It's just trying to keep the consistency of winning games and keeping them beats. 1 or 2 unbeaten streak now. A win and a draw. Keep it going. Just don't get beat. Pick the points up. Let the other teams around get beat. Let's just keep picking points up.
There's 7 points between 10th and 1st, and there's 10 teams in there. So at least each week, some of them are going to be playing each other. So someone will be dropping points each week there. So, it's not over.
Oh, well, anyway, that just about wraps it up because we went over the time.
Just lots to talk about.
But thanks to, obviously, Deano. Thanks, Deano. Thanks to Conrad as well. Thanks to everybody who tuned into the live stream earlier on. Thanks for people who subscribed. Please keep subscribing, spread the word. And we'll see you on Thursday at 6:30 for the Thursday Night Live. So stay safe and bye for now.
See you guys.